When you look at my background where I'm standing, it is all dry, very, very dry. So the dry season, it has gone through us. And we are farming in the semi-arid areas. Northern Uganda is where I'm farming from. When I look into the Bible, I love reading my Bible. There is a gentleman who used to stay in the desert. And this man used to eat honey and locusts. Locusts, they are very rare. Actually, in my whole lifetime, I've seen locusts once. They invaded the eastern part of Uganda, and I happened to see them in northern Uganda, just a few of them. But for us who are staying in the semi-arid areas, the desert areas, and I thank God I've got many of you who are in desert areas. We are farming together. God bless you and stay farming. For today's video, what I want to show you, even if it is dry like this, people have to eat. Eating is a daily thing. Those who have been following me, I showed you a video of how we can dry eggplants, like this one here. Me, I'm lucky I have some fresh ones. But there are those who have been following me, and they have these things, the eggplants, the dry ones. So for today's video, I want to show you how you're going to make your dried eggplants, and we make food. So we are making food that is going to take us through the dry season, like how, as you're seeing behind my back. Everywhere is dry. When you look around, there's nothing eatable around. Nothing can be eaten. But those of you who saved some food, who are farming with Christine, the principal farmer, I am the principal farmer. So those of you who are farming with me, we managed to make some dried eggplants. When it was raining and we had a lot, I showed you how you can dry them. So for today's video, we are making food out of the dried eggplants. No wasting time. This is what we are going to do. That time when we are having a lot, we prepared these eggplants like this. Of course, we have to wash food whenever it's from the garden. So we had to cut them into smaller pieces, like this, and we dried them. So I have the dried eggplants with me. I brought a few just here, and we are going to use them, and we are going to cook them. So when you look at this, they are indeed the dried eggplants. The dried foods, dry eggplants is what I have here. And these dry eggplants, what are we going to do? We are going to wash them a little. We are going to wash them. After washing them, they can be a little soft. So we shall get a saucepan like this, and we chop them into smaller pieces. We shall chop them into smaller pieces, like this. We chop them into smaller pieces. What I'm doing, I'm only showing you what we can eat in the dry seasons. It's not the best of a meal. Maybe I would have cooked for you chicken. I would have cooked for you some meat, but beef. But we are looking at survival foods. Foods that can help us to survive the dry season. I've heard in Uganda here, there are some parts where people have died of hunger. So we cannot reach that level when the principal farmer is around. So we have finished cutting this. We shall add a tomato. We shall add a tomato to spice up our food, like this. A tomato. Everything I'm doing is just to show you what we are going to cook. How we are going to cook our foods and survive the dry season. We shall add an onion in this food. We shall add an onion. This is an onion. We shall chop into smaller pieces. This food, we don't fry it. It's purely boiled food. We chop them into smaller pieces, like this. Everything I'm doing very small, just to show you how you can cook the dried food that we prepared, that we saved in the dry season. So this is what we have done. And this one here, you're going to put it on fire, cover with something, boil them for around 25 minutes. They will be ready. Then after that, we saved some ground nuts. They are also here. These were all the foods we stored during the dry season. So these ground nuts, we are going to grind some of them, and they'll give us the paste that we are going to add in our sauce here. Then we also saved some maize corn. This maize here, we shall also grind some of it, and we also make food out of it. So everything, when it is boiled and cooked and it is ready, we are going to have a meal looking like this. This is the paste we have added in our eggplants, the dried eggplants, the tomatoes, and it has made a very good sauce. It may not be the best, but when we were starting, I told you there is a gentleman who used to stay in the desert. The man used to eat locusts and honey. And for you, my viewers, those who are farming with Christine, today, let me also give you an assignment. Send me the name of that person who was staying in the desert and used to eat locusts and honey for survival. Send me the name of that person. I'm waiting. After you have viewed this video, please send me the name of that person. So this is the kind of sauce we've made. Here, again, we have the food we've made from the maize. So when you have these two things, please, I don't think you're going to stay in the semi-arid areas, in the dry desert places, and you say, I don't have food. At least something is here. The man used to survive on honey and locusts. Then if you have these things here, you're completely going to get satisfied. You're going to stay healthy because the ground nuts have some proteins. The posho here has some carbohydrates. Yes, it is a meal for surviving the dry areas. Like as you can see in my background, everywhere is dry. Nothing big to be eaten. But if you have these in the house, I'm always here to give you the cheapest, the easiest, the quickest and best methods anybody can use and have food on the table. My being here on this channel on YouTube to create hunger-free communities. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, because I'm always here to see that people have food on the table. That is what brings me here. Please send me the name of that man who used to survive on honey and locusts. I'll really appreciate. Thank you for farming with Christine. Subscribe if you haven't, and may the good Lord bless you all.